Hello, my name is Varanya Kulapatharijit, and last for my student ID is 1103. The title of the story is Springtime a la carte. I affirm that I have recorded the audiobook with my own voice, and that this work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participated.
Hello, my name is Patintida Ranjanjit. My ID number is 1910411101136. The title is Springtime a la carte. I affirm that I have recorded the audiobook with my own voice, and that this work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of my work submitted by the group in which I participated.
Hi, my name is Nuturiwan Midterm. I affirm that I have recorded the audiobook with my own voice and that this work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participated.
Hi, my name is Shayanit Wongvian. My ID number is 1910411101104. The title is Springtime a la carte. I affirm that I have recorded the audiobook with my own voice and that this work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role in ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participated.
My name is Supicha Chaturong. The title of the story that we shoot is Springtime a la carte. I affirm that I have recorded the audio with my own voice, and this work is my own. I accept responsibility for my role ensuring the integrity of the work submitted by the group in which I participate.
Springtime a la carte by O.Henry. Spring was taking its time to arrive in the city, and with no letter from her fiancé in weeks. Sarah quite worried. In fact, couldn't go from her dandelion dream. She fingered the typewriter keys absently for a little while, with her mind and heart in the middle land with her young farmer.
It was a day in March. Never begin a story this way when you write one. No opening could possibly be worse. It is unimaginative, flat, dry, and likely to consider more wind. But in this instance it is allowable, for the following paragraph, which should have inaugurated the narrative, is too wildly extravagant and preposterous to be flaunted in the face of the reader without preparation. Sarah was crying over her bill of fare. Think of a New York girl shedding tears on the menu card. To account for this, you will be allowed to guess that the lobsters were allowed, or that she had sworn ice cream off during Lent, or that she had outweighed onions, or that she had just come from a hackneyed matinee. And then, all these theories being wrong, you will please let the story proceed. The gentleman who announced that the word was an oyster, which he with his sword would open, made a larger hit than he deserved. It is not difficult to open an oyster with a sword. But did you ever notice anyone try to open the terrestrial Bible with a typewriter? Like to wait for a dozen roll open that way? Sarah heard me needs to pry the plot. the shells with her unhandy weapon far enough to nibble. A wee bit that the cold and clammy were within. She knew no more shorthand than if she had been a graduate in stenography, just let slip upon the word by a business colleague. So, not being able to stenog, she could not enter that bright galaxy of office talent. She was a freelance typewriter and canvassed for odd jobs of copying. The most brilliant and crowning feat of Sarah's battle with the world was the deal she made with Schellenberg's home restaurant. The restaurant was next door, the old red brick, in which she ballroomed. One evening after dining at Schellenberg's for descent, 5-course table d'hôte, served as fast as you throw the 5 baseballs at the Conrad gentleman's head. Sarah took away with her the bill of fare. It was written in an almost unreadable script, neither English nor German, and so arranged that if you were not careful, you began with a toothpick and rice pudding and ended with soup and the day of the week. The next day, Sarah showed Schellenberg a neat carte, on which the menu was beautifully typewritten, with the viands temptingly marshalled under their right, and proper keys from hors d'oeuvre to not responsible for overcoats and umbrellas. Schellenberg became a naturalized citizen on the spot. Before Sarah left him, she had him willingly committed to an agreement. She was to furnish typewritten bills of fare for the 21 tables in the restaurant, a new bill for each day dinner, and new ones for breakfast, and lunch as often as changes occurred in the food or as neatness required. In return for this, Schellenberg was to send 3 meals per diem to Sarah's room by a waiter, an obsequious one if possible, and furnish her each afternoon.
Mutual satisfaction resulted from the argument. Schellenberg's patient now knew what the food there is was called, even if its nature sometimes puzzled them. And Sarah had food during a cold, dull winter, which was the main thing with her. And then the almanac lied and said that spring had come. Spring comes when it comes. The frozen snows of January still lay like adamant in the closed-out state. The hand organs still play in the good old summertime, with their December vivacity and expression. Men began to make dirty their nose to buy its daisies. Janitors shut off the steam, and when this thing happens, one may know that the city is still in the clutches of winter. One afternoon, Sarah shifted in the elegant hall bedroom. How Houston scrupulously clean conveniences seemed to be applicated. She had no work to do except Schellenberg manuscript. Sarah sat in her squeaky willow rug and looked out the window. The calendar on the wall kept crying to her, "Springtime is here, Sarah. Springtime is here, I tell you. Look at me, Sarah. My figures show it. You have got a neat figure yourself, Sarah, a nice springtime figure. Why do you look out the window so sadly?" Sarah's room was at the back of the house. Looking out the window, she could see the windowless rear brick wall of the box factory on the next day. But the wall was clearly hidden, and Sarah was looking down a grassy lane, shaded with cherry hedge and elms, and bordered with raspberry bushes and Cherokee rose. Spring real high benches are too subtle for the eye and ear. Some must have the flowering crocus, the wood-staring dogwood, the white of bluebird. Even so close a reminder as the farewell handshake of the retiring buckwheat and oyster. Before they can welcome the lady in green to their door bosom, but to old each choices in their homestead. Sweet messages from his notice by, telling them they shall be no stepchildren unless too should to be. On the previous summer, Sarah had gone into the country and loved a farmer. In writing your story, never hark back thus. It is bad art and creepens interest. Let it march. Sarah stayed 2 weeks at Sunnybrook Farm. There she learned to love old farmer Franklin's Sunwater. Farmers have been loved and wounded and turned out to grace in less time. But young Walter Franklin was a modern agriculturist. He had a telephone in his coal house, and he could figure out exactly what effect next year Canada wheaten crop would have on potential pattern in the dark of the moon.
It was indeed shaded and raspberry red. That water had wood and won her, and together they had sat and woven a crown of dandelions for her hair. He had immoderately pressed the effect of the yellow blossoms against her brown tresses, and she had left the chaplet there and walked back to the house, swinging her straw sailor in her hands. They were to marry in the spring, at the very first spring of spring. Water said. And Sarah came back to the city to plow her typewriter. A knock at the door dispelled Sarah's visions of that happy day. A waiter had brought the love pencil draft of the home restaurant next day fair in old Schurenberg's and Graham. Sarah sat down to her typewriter and slipped a card between the rollers. She was a nimble worker. Generally, in an hour and a half, the 21 menu cards were written and ready. Today, there were more changes on the bill of fare than usual. The soups were lighter. Pork was eliminated from the entree, fingering only with luncheon. Turnips among the lost. The Grecian spirit of spring pervaded the entire menu. Lamb that lately capered on the greening hillsides was becoming exploited with the sauce that commemorated its gambols. The song of the oyster, though not silent, was the window going more. The frying pan seemed to be held inactive behind the beneficent breast of the boilers. The pies swelled. The richer puddings had vanished. The sauces, with his deftly wrapped about him, barely wrinkled in your passage, than pitched with the buckwheat, and is rich but too maple. Sarah's fingers danced like midgets above her summer stream, down to the coarsest work, giving each item its position according to its range, with an accurate eye. Just above the dessert came the list of vegetables, carrots and peas, asparagus on the toast, the parsnip, tomatoes and corn, and cicadas, lima beans, cabbage, and then Sarah was crying over her bill of fare. Tears from the depth of some divine despair lost in her heart and gathered to her eyes. Down went her hair on the little twilighter strand, and the keyboards rattled dry, accompaniment to her moist sobs.
For she had received no letter from Walter in 2 weeks, and the next item on the bill of fare was dandelions. Dandelions with some kind of egg. But bother the egg. Dandelions with whose golden blooms Walter had crowned her his queen of love and future bride. Dandelions, the harbingers of spring, her sorrow's crown of sorrow, reminder of her happiest days. Madam, I dare you to smile until you suffer this test. Let the marshal know roses that Percy brought you on the night you gave him her heart, be served as a salad with French dressing. Before your eyes at the Schulenburg table d'hote, had Julius so seen her love token dishonored, the sooner would she have sought the leathern herbs of the good apothecary. But what a witch is spring! Into the great cold city of stone and iron, a message had to be sent. There was none to convey it. But the little Harley Curlier of the fields, with his rough green coat and modest air, he is a true soldier of fortune. This dandelion, this lion's tooth, as the French chefs call him, flowered, he will assist at love-making. Read, in my lady's nut-brown hair. Young and carol and unblossomed, he goes into the boiling pot and delivers the word of his sovereign mistress. By and by, Sarah forced back her tears. The cards must be written, but still in the faint golden glow from her dandelion night dream, she fingered the typewriter keys absently for a little while, with her mind and heart in the meadow lane, with her young farmer. But soon she came swiftly back to the rock bowlands of Manhattan, and the typewriter began to rattle and jump like a strikebreaker's motor car. At 6 o'clock, the waiter brought her dinner and carried away the typewritten bill of fare. When Sarah ate, she set aside, with a sigh, the dish of dandelions with its crowning ovarious accompaniment. As this dark mass had been transformed from the bright and love-endorsed flower to be an ignominious vegetable, so had her summer hopes wilted and perished. Love may, as Shakespeare said, feed on itself, but Sarah could not bring herself to eat the dandelions that had grasped and ornaments the first spiritual banquet of her heart's true affection.
At 7:30, the couple in the next room began to quarrel. The man in the room above sought for air on his flute. The gas went a little lower. 3 coal wagons start to unload, the only sound of which the porocab is jealous. Catch on the black, Frances slowly retreats towards Mukden. By this side, Sarah knew that it was time for her to read. She got out the cloister and heard the best non-selling book of the month, settled her feet and her trunk, and began to wander with Gerard. The front door bell rang. The landlady answered it. Sarah left Gerard and Denise treated by a bear and listened. "Oh yes, you would, just as she did." And then a strong voice was heard. In the hall below, Sarah jumped for her door, leaving book on the floor, and the first laughed easily the bear. "You have guesses?" Sarah reached the top of the stair, just as her farmer came up, 3 at a jump, and read, and garnished her, with nothing left for the cleaner. "Why haven't you written? Oh, why?" cried Sarah. "New York is a petty little town," said Walter Franklin. "I came in a week ago to your old address. I found that you went away on Thursday. That's consolation. It eliminated the possible Friday bad luck. But it didn't prevent my hunting for you, with police and otherwise everything." "I wrote," Sarah said swimmingly. "Never got it." "Then, how did you find me?" The young farmer smiled a springtime smile. "I dropped into the home restaurant next door this evening," he said. "I don't care who knows it. I like a dish of some kind of green at this time of the year." I ran my eye down the nice typewritten bill of fare looking for something in that line. When I got below cabbage, I turned my chair over and hollered for the proprietor. He told me where you live. "I remember," said Sarah happily. "That's what the lights below cabbage. I know that cranky capital the bill, way above the line that your typewriter makes anywhere in the world," said Franklin. "Why this not the bill in that lion?" said Sarah in surprise. The young man drew the bill of fare from his pocket and pointed to the line. Sarah recognized the first card she had typewritten that afternoon. There was still the raised space in the upper right-hand corner where a chair had fallen, but over the spot where no one should have read the name of the master plant, the clinging memory of their golden bosom has allowed her fingers to strike stand key. Between the red cabbage and the stuffed green paper was the item. "There is water, with hard-boiled egg. And F. Springtime, a la carte."